Yeah, see if I can keep this as 4 minutes. Yeah, as you know, one thing I know about cars is when they age, they start making a lot of noise with the suspension. I remember I had a town car, and then I had a LS4. I had a couple of Lexus LS430s, and the second LS430 I remember when it started making like sounds from the suspension. It sounded like, it sounds like your car is breaking down. It sounds like the suspension. You like, man, do I need ball joints? Well, my LS430, I did need ball joints, but still that sound was there. And what I realized is when cars age, the suspension gets real loud. I think because all the pressure, that the car is taking in, all the beatings that it's taken over the years as it starts to age. When it starts to get around that 300,000 mile mark, the suspension don't sound the same anymore. It actually sounds like you go over a bump. It almost sounds, well, not all bumps, but some bumps. It literally sounds like the car is about to break down, fall apart, implode. But I think what really happens is, the beating that the car takes, the frame of the vehicle, because where's all the pressure really going? It's going to that frame. So as the car ages, the frame, it don't sound the same as when you first buy the car. It's not as the frame is not as sturdy. We know the frame is not gonna crack in half unless you get into a car accident. But it's not taking in the same it's not holding in the same pressure. uh I'm not a scientist guy. I really can't explain it in those terms, but we know it's not holding in the same kind of pressure. Therefore, it makes louder noise when you go over a bump. I was upset about that with my last Lexus I owned, because you get a Lexus, you're used to it sounding that real smooth. But once again, when a car gets past a certain 200 three, that Lexus, when it started getting close to 300,000 miles, I started noticing the frame wasn't holding in those sounds as good as it was anymore. But the car was actually in perfect mechanical condition. If your car starts sounding, making funny noise, you take it to a mechanic. I have. Say, hey, why is the car sounding? They do a full inspection. The car is just fine. But what it is, I know what it is. It's car don't sound. It just don't sound the same as it ages. So I just want to put that out there, guys. I'm not a mechanic, but I do have a lot of car knowledge, and I always get things checked out and tell people about funny noises and stuff. So they're aware of it. I'm aware of it, and so I'm making you guys aware of it. But it sucks though when a car ages. Technically, I mean, once your car, man, goes over 250,000 miles, I don't care what kind of car you got or how reliable it is. If it's a Toyota, it really don't matter. It's not gonna sound the same, because again, that frame is not gonna be holding in those sounds, like it was when the first couple of 100,000 miles you drove the car. And then if you live in somewhere where the car is going through uh the winter months back into spring, and then summer, and then back to winter, then the frame is really gonna sound, start making strange noises. Maybe if your car was in someplace like Florida all its life, maybe you can get up to 500,000 miles before the car's frame start making loud noises and stuff like that. But if you living in one of these, if the car was in a cold climate, you could best believe, it gets to us, 200, 300,000 miles, you go over bumps, it's just not going to sound as sturdy, even though the car is perfectly fine.